Hello, welcome to Sparks 1524 Travelogue. I'm Nathaniel Miller reporting to you live via recording from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Sunrises over the Grand Canyon are a very moving event to witness. The canyon's vast, craggy landscape lighting up, the colors starting to shine as the sunlight hits them. It's a sight that is definitely worth seeing, even though you have to get up pretty early to get out there and do it. The first time I witnessed a sunrise at the Grand Canyon was back on October 18th, 2018, during my first visit. At that time, there was still snow and ice up in the upper elevations on the canyon rim, and it made it a very unique moment to have the sunrise coming up with the snow and ice on the ground around my feet, low scuttling clouds in the sky, and this gorgeous canyon starting to illuminate. Yesterday, before I left Arizona, I went up to the Grand Canyon again for the sunrise. Now, both of these I went and saw at the Grandview Overlook. Grandview Overlook is the trailhead for the Grandview Trail, which was built by miners for a copper mine about half a mile down in the canyon. The downside to the Grandview Overlook is that, like Mather's Point and some of the other more popular spots, it gets very crowded during the tourist season because you can drive right to the overlook and park. It's one of those places that if you do want to see the sunrise there during tourist season, you need to get up extra early and probably get there an hour or two before the sun comes up to make sure you can park. Another great spot is Yakai Point. It is another overlook on the south rim, but its parking area is so small that the Park Service actually closed it off to all private vehicles. The only vehicles allowed to drive there now are shuttle buses. You have to park out along the road and hike about a mile and a half to get to Yakai Point. That makes it a little less crowded during the tourist season, but you still need to get there early. One of the reasons I enjoy coming to places like the Grand Canyon during the off-season is there are fewer people. Back in 2018, I did my first sunrise at Grandview and the second one at Yakai Point. This time, because I did have to drive here to Albuquerque, I went to Grandview because it was easier to drive and park, watch the sunrise, get in Sarah Jane, my car, and shoot straight across to Albuquerque. I also decided that every time I visit the Grand Canyon, I will do at least one sunrise at Grandview Point to kind of create a tradition. But another thing I would like you to take note of is the lack of sound. There were so few people there that morning, and we were able to spread out so much that unless I really strained, I couldn't hear another human being. There were no airplanes, no cars, no talking. All I heard was the sounds of the canyon in the morning, and the sound of the canyon in the morning is the most glorious silence. I would like to leave you before I sign off here with another photo I took during that same visit to the Grand Canyon in 2018. This is the canyon at night, also on October 18th, 2018. That day I got up early, I watched the sunrise, I stayed at the canyon all day until nightfall, and I got a 30-second exposure of the Grand Canyon lit up by moonlight. It was one of the most gorgeous things I have ever seen and one of the most unique photos I think I will ever take. Hopefully I will have time in the future to go back and shoot the canyon by moonlight again, because it's a very unusual perspective that I've never seen before. Thank you for sticking with me, and I appreciate your time. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe and the like button. Feel free to share it if you think it's worth it, and if you don't, again, I appreciate you sticking with me this long. Until I see you next time, always remember to go and do great things.